Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Grave of Venom from Season 4, right? So, I'm currently in Season 4. This is basically the rerun of Season 4 for those of you that played at the same time as me, like, you know, when the game launched globally, even before I started playing from the beta. And we basically have the rerun because that's the situation, but I've not played much in the previous Season 4, right? I quit for a little while, I only played like 25 days, and then I came back to give it another shot because I love the game. But I'm doing, I was just doing some testing, farming, you know, here and there, doing some dungeons, and there were people in my Alliance Discord, right? I'm part of the Eternally, aka ET, basically Eternal Titans. That was the original one. We just had to keep changing the name because for some reason they don't let us use the older names. But I saw some people, you know, showing their teams of the Harpy, and I said, you know, let me see what can I do in Grave of Venom myself, because this is kind of like, again, after you get to the point where you keep farming Goblin and you get to the next level, this is the most important dungeon that you want to farm, right? Because Grave of Venom gives you the damage pieces of gear, and these are the most important in order to boost your damage for all areas of the game. For Vortex, for dungeons, Chaos Shadows, Arena, you name it, Grave of Venom is where it's at. So I said, you know, let me try and give it a shot. Let's see what can I do with my team. I used to have this team over here, right? I used to go full support, healing, one tank, and then, you know, try and do my best. This is not my first, you know, this is not my first attempt. This was my first attempt where I barely had any legendary gear. I mostly had epic gear, but I did have some legendary gear that I forged from farming the lower level. So I basically had this team first, going with Theodemer, Victor, Astaion, Cinorel, and then Finja. Pretty much full legendary team, you know, a pretty strong one. I'm not saying this is relatable by any means, but basically what I'm going to show you today is the team that I ended up using. And at the same time, I'm going to give you some tips, some ideas of what else you can use and what you should be using for this fight in order to, you know, try and beat it, first of all, and then after that to try and do your fastest team possible. So the team actually ended up using, it was just a random test, I ended up using my Vortex team, right? One of my Vortex variation teams. And that's basically using Astaion, again, as a support, then Cinorel, then Finja, and then two Shadow people, Aspalta, and then Ozul with his exclusive artifact. Again, not everybody can do it, but this is the team that I ended up with. So let me just run it for you so you see how fun it works, how well it does. Pretty much, as you can see, my tank in this team is actually going to be Astaion, because she's a really good tank, considering the fact that you want to give her as much HP as possible, as that's what her what her healing scales off of on the ultimate. So that kind of makes her the perfect candidate for that role. Now, one thing that you want to keep in mind, that again, this is a showcase, this is like, you know, the right sets, the right stats, and I'm quite sure as we're gonna push on, I can give it even better, but right now I don't have a 5-man synergy even, right? I'm quite sure I could drop maybe in the future Cinorel and bring Cinorel and bring somebody else that's either Ice or Necrosis, maybe somebody like Aladia, which we got from previous season. But this one pretty much goes, I guess this one's a little bit of a worse run. I pretty much did it in like 34 seconds, but it's still like under 1 minute. I'm not using the perfect mechanics that you need for this team, and that's what I want to talk about, showing you the other team, what is basically the best thing that you can do and what you want to use to perfectly do this team, at least first of all, right? What are the core mechanics of the Grave of Venom in order to do it? You see, this one took me 55 seconds, but then I had a 34, so it depends on the RNG of how skills land. So in order to talk about the best mechanics, let's look at what the Harpy does. So the first AoE deals, the first one deals damage to all enemies, grants shield to all allies, and then each time the shield is broken, the deadly Harpy receives damage equal to 30% of its max HP. So this pretty much tells you need a way to remove those shields, or at least on the main Harpy. Then the second one, again, full board damage, 100% chance to dispel one buff from them. So you want to try and see what buffs you bring, if you want to bring several just to keep yourself safe. And then the ultimate, it's kind of like the same as used to be in every season, just with a little bit of a twerk, but a tweak, not twerk. Why would I say twerk? I don't know. Anyway, dashes to the current target's location and performs a triple kick, each dealing poison damage and triggering flame of element poison simultaneous attacks. Pretty much whoever's going to be your main tank is going to get this burst of damage, which can be really powerful and can be scary. But this one has like a little bit of a thing that you want to keep in mind. If the monster has less than 2 debuffs, when casting this skill, the target will be changed to a random enemy. So this one pretty much tells you that when the boss does her ultimate skill, right, when the Harpy does the ultimate, you want to try and have 2 debuffs on her so she focuses this ultimate hit on your main tank. Otherwise, it can be a bit scary. Then the passive, Deadly Harpies attacks have a 90% chance to trigger simultaneous attack from Flame of Element Poison, basically those element orbs, balls, whatever you want to call them, that she has, whose target always remains the same as the Deadly Harpies. Every debuff on the Flame Element Poison reduces its trigger chance by 30%. For every ally other than the boss who possesses a shield on the field, Deadly Harpy gains 1 stack of damage reduction. So if the side orbs have shields on them, that means the Deadly Harpy is going to take, what, 60% less damage, which means it's kind of tricky. So your goal is going to be in this fight to have a few things. So first of all, you want to have somebody that removes shields, right? At least specifically for the Deadly Harpy. Secondly, you want to have some debuffs, preferably people that bring AoE debuffs on the team, right? And then third, you want to have as much AoE or full board damage so you can break the shields of the side ads so you can kill the Harpy as fast as possible. Now, if you look at it, for example, let's go back to the team that I used to use. I pretty much showed this one where my main tank was Theodemer. Obviously, this can be whoever's your best tank. I guess the best free-to-play solution for this one is going to be using Ardreth, right? Everybody should have gotten Ardreth as a free-to-play. She's extremely tanky. She's really good at this. She has an amazing aura, an amazing passive, self-healing. She would be just the ideal champion to use as a tank if you don't have somebody, like I said, like a Theodemer. Theodemer is really powerful as well, especially if you have Fenja, because he can sustain the first hit where it becomes tricky. Now, the thing that you want to do, if you can, which can be a bit tricky, is try to bring an attack penalty. Somebody has it on a battle skill, so you can land before the Harpy does the first one, on the first AoE, because this is the one that can kill you, right? If you don't have attack penalty and you're not built strong enough, this one can kill you. So as an example, one of the people that I'm using is Sinorel. He has a 4.3 seconds recharge, and then as the passive, that's where the attack penalty lands. But you can always just go through your account and just look like, okay, let me see where's the debuffs, attack penalty. Look through these ones, see who brings attack penalty on the battle skill, right? I think I don't think there's too many actually, but you have somebody like what's her name, Nessa, that can do it. Thingam does it as well, but it's a smaller version. He does it on the ultimate. He does it on the battle skill, but it's a smaller version. Even somebody like, actually wait, I'm looking only at Radiance. Everybody, there's more. He could be good as well. For example, he doesn't bring attack penalty, but he might put that shield to help keep yourself alive. Or another good option is, instead of attack penalty, bringing somebody like Faesa if you have, right? Because if you have Faesa, she has on the battle skill that skill that puts damage reduction and damage delay. This can keep you alive. Or obviously, one of the MVPs is having Mithrasia that has the passive that puts immortality if your tank gets killed. But that's the first thing. Now, if we're talking about the next one, is somebody that removes shields or somebody that blocks shields. There's not too many in the game. So if you look, for example, at Dispel Shields, you can see that we don't have that many. Victor is kind of like the MVP of this season, as I made a video before, as he can remove all buffs and shields on the battle skill. He removes buffs on the ultimate, does AoE, hits, so he's kind of like one of the perfect ones for this fight. If you don't have him, then obviously another good one is going to be Aladia. She removes all shields on the battle skill. She also brings an AoE hit. She also puts shields, control immunity, and then also on the passive lands attack penalty, has a chance to land attack penalty when you're being attacked while under a shield. So Aladia is another good option. Then we have a Brody, but he removes shields on the ultimate, and then same thing for Shook. Also another good one is Ihukatl, right? Same thing, remove shields on the battle skill. So that's the first thing. Then the next one is going to be, like I said, lots of debuffs. So when you're looking about lots of debuffs, some easy options are going to be somebody like, if you have him, obviously, somebody like Ivoresh, right? He does AoE hit, puts buff prohibition, and then if you make him your Witch's Remains, that's another debuff. He's another good one. Then another one that's really amazing, which is one of my favorite champions, actually my favorite epic in the game, we have Yola, right? good range, puts attack penalty, and also can be another good witches remains champion. So there's several options that you can use in here. Even somebody like Venom, he's really awesome as well because he has lots of self-sustain. He also brings like lots of hits on the ultimate. He can be another really good tank. So that's pretty much like the core things that you want. And this team, the way that it works is because, again, Venom was pretty much my tank, but my damage dealer as well. He's, you know, really good defense-based damage dealer. Then Victor, really good with the debuffs that he brings on the ultimate and on the battle skill. And then pretty much you want to have, so you kind of want to have like this as the team. One good tank, one good debuffer at least, right? Or do you prefer to have two? If you can, two debuffers that also bring you attack penalty. So in my case, I have Victor and then I have Cinorel. That's also a healer, brings attack penalty. And then two good healers. In my case, the healers are Astion and then Fenja. That also brings, you know, for example, for one of the healers, I think I have it on him. You can have whoever's your best healer to be in the gatekeeper staff. So as a simple example, let's look at the Radiance team. Okay, if I would build a Radiance team, I would go something like this. I would go with Ardreth as the main tank. I would go with Garius as one of the healers because he's amazing in the gatekeeper staff with his healing. And then let's see. Actually, let me look at Lightning Irradiance. Okay, Lightning Irradiance. So who would be my best options? If you have somebody like a Rose, Rose is good for the attack penalty. She does lots of hits all over. Then you can have. Let's go and look at more epics. You can have, like I mentioned. Who do we have in here? Yola, right? You can have Yola, or you need a shield remover. You can put Ihukatl over here. She removes shields. Then the attack penalty is going to be Rose, and then you bring somebody like a Yola, right? Yola, and you could have maybe Yola be a mixed build. She could be attack penalty, but she could also be your damage dealer. It might be slow, but it's going to work, right? It might be slow, but it's going to work if you don't have the ideal champions. Again, if you don't have Rose, just throw somebody else that brings attack penalty from your combo, and make sure you have, that's what I suggest usually, make sure you try to have at least one, if not two, people that bring you attack penalty. You could even throw Shook in there, okay, to have as another one because he does attack penalty on the ultimate, and then he also removes shields. So this could be like an ideal team that you can do it, and then these two could be a mixed build of support like as debuffers and then damage dealers. Or there's always the option of like looking like, okay, you're struggling, you don't know exactly what to build, just always look over here, lineup recommendations. Look at stage 9 and see what other people have been using. There's always going to be lots of good ideas for you in case you're struggling, in case you don't know what exact team to use. There's always going to be over here teams. You can even click the show non-legendary teams, and there you go, you have options of non-legendary ones. One of the best ones again would be somebody like a Sigrid. For example, let's say you would want to go Sigrid and don't have the right, you're not gonna have the, what's it called, the full synergy of the 5-man. You don't really need that as long as it works. You can go in there Sigrid, right? Then you can go the best enabler from my point of view for her in Voresh, right? You have attack penalty from Sigrid with healing prohibition. You have he would be Witches Remains plus buff prohibition. That would be 4 debuffs. Make sure he always goes before Sigrid. And then over there you can go like, again, the most free to play I can think of, Ardreth, Garius with the staff, and then let's see, 1, 2 healers, and then somebody else maybe that maybe you would want to complete this synergy, the Fire and Poison, right? Actually you don't have it. So let's see, we finish Lightning Irradiance. Let's bring Ihukatl. Okay, you can bring Ihukatl, like I said, you want to try and remove the shield from the boss. You can bring either Ihukatl or Shook or whoever you have, and this could be another good team. That means your tanks will be fine. You're going to have attack penalty, healing from here, healing from these two, shields, plus defense up from Ihukatl, and this could be your perfect Grave of Venom team. But yeah, I guess that's going to be pretty much it for today. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this team? Do you think it's going to be good? Do you think that I gave you good enough advice or not? I'm really curious. But yeah, thank you all for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.